Just like a rich black person can still be impacted by racism. So it's not an organization that directly attacks. It's not an organization that directly attacks like class along class lines, right? A rich person, a rich woman will see less of an impact from will be less harmed by sexism than a poor woman will, but still, that still exists. I don't believe it's one or the other, though. I believe it's both. I believe that intersectionality has to feature class. Without class, it's nothing. It's bullshit. That's my point of view. I don't think that we we overlook the damaging past of like racial injustice or injustice on injustice revolving around your sexuality or your gender. I don't think we should just like throw that to the side and hyper focus on class, because then you arrive at the New Deal carving out. It's not bullshit without class. It's bullshit without class. It's complete bullshit without class. Sorry. It's like saying I care about social justice, and that's why I'm socially progressive, but fiscally I'm a conservative. So you act like you care about the issues, but at the heart of those issues is literally fucking material conditions. And the reason why those issues persist in society is, well, those reasons I don't really care about. I don't want to change that reality. Come on, let's not go that far. So yes, social justice without economic justice is just, kind words and promises that don't have any backing whatsoever. Yeah, basically just thoughts and prayers. That's why you see so many Democrats say, I see you, I hear you, we're going to have a president that believes in science. If the Democrat is saying, we're going to have a president that believes in science, but we're not going to stop fracking, and the Republican is saying, nah, fuck the science, and also we're going to keep fracking, well, then you're still fracking. One just knows better, and he's still doing the fracking. The other one knows less, or at least acts like they know less, and that's why they think fracking is fine. You know? The inverse of that, policy that literally only considers improving class conditions will always do more for minorities than policies will only consider improving race relations. Yes, but policies that only consider class conditions oftentimes will purposely carve out trans people or black people and use these marginalized groups as like a pawn to just remove in the argument. You got to like give and take. The New Deal is a great example of this. So that's something you can't do either. You understand? No, class doesn't end up missing marginalized communities. That's not true. Like, one thing that has always really frustrated me that I talk about regularly is criminal justice reform and how it's perceived in the media versus, for example, Medicare for all. We rarely ever talk about the impact that Medicare for all or raising the minimum wage to $15 has on black and brown communities, right? Communities of color. We think about that exclusively as though it only helps white people or it just helps this like working class. And whenever someone says working class, you just think white people for some fucking weird reason, right? But whenever we talk about criminal justice reform, you know that that's an issue that will greatly benefit the black and brown communities. And that is deeply frustrating because both of those policies improve black and brown communities and their material conditions. Because black women specifically are overrepresented in the minimum wage workers. Black women are overrepresented as minimum wage workers. Black people are overrepresented in the front lines. They are overrepresented. Black and brown people are overrepresented in the essential businesses. They're overrepresented in poor people overall, in like a poor classification. And therefore, a lot of these progressive causes that focus on class will end up helping black and brown people in the exact same way that the criminal justice system, reforming the criminal justice system would. Feel me? Anyway. I used to work on my reservation, and even the owner used the federal minimum wage for everyone, unless they were managers, only got a 10-cent raise after 4 months. Yep. I mean, I live in the actual ghetto, barely any white people here. Okay. Are you telling me? Okay, so you say you live in the actual ghetto, barely any white people live here. So, how many of the people that you live around, how many of your neighbors would greatly benefit from increasing the minimum wage? How many of them would benefit from having no fear of going to the doctor because of Medicare for all? Also, I don't think black people say like I live in the ghetto, but whatever. Yo, I'm keeping it real in the ghetto right now, son. I'm a black. That's got real like as a black man energy, dude. Yo, it's the streets out here where I'm from. Like 14-year-old white kid on Xbox Live energy. Anyway, do you think there will be any substantive progressive policies enacted in our lifetime? I don't know. You're 100% right. Focusing on class encloses every group, especially since everyone has to work. Securing rights for workers would secure rights for anyone in that group. I know, but sometimes, in theory, again, focusing on class alone is great, but in practice, it ends up literally carving out like black and brown communities, and that's not acceptable, or trans people, and that's not acceptable. These are also people who are a part of the working class, right? Like there is no Medicare for all that excludes like undocumented immigrants, for example. Like that shit doesn't work that way. You don't get to be like, yeah, we're doing Medicare for all finally, but only for the ones who deserve it. Like then that's not for all. Feel me? And these are arguments that will come down the line. People will want to counter your positions by by pushing for divisive policies. And you gotta say fuck that. You want Medicare for all? You got to recognize that trans people are also going to get gender confirmation surgery if they want to. Fuck off. The yellow number in the bottom right corner of your screen is my what is this? Now is not the time is a liberal proverb, a leftist proverb apparently. No, I don't think this is just about me. I think she's saying like everyone who is not everyone who is saying like forced to vote is silly right now with no reason for Democrats to operate in a different way are being like libs. It's whatever, it doesn't matter. What sentence was I on that I needed to finish? Why do you selectively pick chat messages that support your viewpoints? I don't. I often go down a massive, massive stun lock. I'm notorious for picking, including that one actually. I'm notorious for picking points that don't support me. Oh, the yellow number in the corner is my heart rate. Sorry. I do the exact opposite of that, as a matter of fact. I usually snipe them, but I'm trying to scale back on that a little bit because honestly, it really does create a cancerous environment in my chat where it creates a cancerous environment in my chat because it's just like it gets really annoying. Like good community members, instead of engaging in like productive and thoughtful conversations, literally turn around just to get me fucking triggered, just so I'll give them like a crumb of attention. Because most of you in here, some of you are in here just to hear, some of you have it on the background and you listen to it throughout your day like it's a podcast. Some of you are in here that are actively fucking chatting, and you're chatting exclusively to get my attention. Exclusively. And when you're exclusively trying to get my attention and get the attention of everyone in the community, and the community celebrates like the community celebrates like people getting answer this dude. How do you get a largely socially conservative American working class to agree with socially progressive leftist policy? First of all, the American working class is not largely socially conservative. Like, it depends entirely on what you're talking about, like what specific issue you're talking about. But people who say yes, it is, need to get the fuck off, like stupid Paul. Okay. It depends on what you mean by social conservative or progressive politics. Like, progressives don't mean like 14-year-olds on Tumblr experimenting with like the latest and greatest new progressive policy just dropped type shit. Like, progressive means policies that uplift the working class overall. Socially progressive doesn't mean like the people in the halls of academia literally saying like you have to say Latinx, or else you are being anti-Latino. Okay, I have a relatively sizable South American community in here, like, and more people get triggered by me even saying Latinx than fucking the opposite. That's not social progress. Like, social progressivism is like saying, don't be fucking shitty to trans people. Trans people are people. Like, they are real human beings. And they deserve rights. Okay? Like, most people are not, if you talk to them, are not going to be like, no, fuck that, I'm a shithead. Fuck you. So, the point I'm trying to make is, if you want to broad coalition, you got to hit people on class issues. You got to target them in areas that they need help in. Because it doesn't fucking matter if you're trans, if you're cis, if you are black or brown. If you are working class, then you are suffering in nearly the exact same way that others are. Okay? Like, just being trans or being black or being a woman on top of that adds an additional hurdle. It's compounding, but ultimately, a lot of your suffering comes from the fact that you are a worker, the fact that you're fucking poor. So even if you're like a poor straight white guy, even if you are a poor straight white dude, like if you're fucking homeless, if you are a single parent, or if you have deep credit card debt and you got evicted and now you have to live in a fucking hotel, like that dude might have racist points of view. Okay? Maybe he lost his job because the factory moved overseas. That dude might have racist points of view because America's pretty fucking racist. And that's his social conditioning overall. Growing up, that was his social conditioning. And he doesn't like change. And then one party is literally going to him and saying, hey, you like guns, right? These fucking libtards are the reason why you got NAFTA, your factory closed, and hey, we will let you be as racist as you want to. As a matter of fact, you should be even more racist. Here are the reasons why. In order to bring that person back, what you have to do is be like, dude, you're fucking poor as shit. Like, we got to help you. This is bullshit. These fucking politicians and these wealthy people are literally just lining their pockets with money that should be going to you and people like you. Okay? And yeah, that money is also going to go to trans people who are real people and do exist, whether your dumbass likes it or not. Okay? You just watched your Michael Knowles debate. Really liked how you didn't back down from key points and really walked your talk. Yeah, well, Michael Knowles was looking like a fucking total asshat. Still advocating him against masks at that point. Racism and sexism is so deeply rooted that it would almost be impossible to do that? No. No, it wouldn't. We don't have, like, we have never had the alternative. Like, it's so dumb. Like, there's never been an alternative to that. There's never been someone who's like, hold the fuck up. Like who outside of like Bernie or maybe the Rainbow Coalition or like outside of, I don't know, even Ralph Nader, maybe like outside of a few key instances, who in the mainstream has been like, what is more important is the distinctions that we have in our class positions, and that's how people get you, and that's how people fucking hurt you. Everyone's take is unironically, like the neoliberal take usually is just the neoliberal take often is just, no, we can't do better things because Republicans are too crazy, and it's just not going to work. We gotta cater to these racist people. It's like, no, you don't cater to racist people by becoming racist. You cater to racist people by telling them like, no, here are your issues, and I as a politician will represent your interests. But I'm not going to represent your interests when it hurts other people. Okay, that's it. Timbo Turnbaum. I locked myself out of my house. Can you come let me back in? Sure. I grew up in a place where people like this live. There's nothing you can tell them that will change their mind. They dismiss everything as shit on their own well-being to support Republicans. I know. Well, some people you can't win. Who cares? Like, democracy doesn't mean you have to win by 100% rule. Democracy just means you got to get 51%. Like, no one's asking to fucking win over every single person in West Virginia or Iowa or Ohio. Some of those people you're just not going to win. But that doesn't matter. They still absolutely deserve health care. Like, it doesn't matter how fucking racist they are. Medicare for all means racists, and yes, Nazis, and yes, the worst kinds of people on the planet will also get the health care. It doesn't work that way. It has to. These people have to get health care. These people have to get education. As a matter of fact, if they had their living conditions improved, they would be less likely to be fucking racist anyway. Only politicians can change races' minds through policies. We're talking about a larger scale. Individually, you can do whatever you fucking want. Are you aware you are mispronouncing Latinx? Anyway. Oh, I forgot to run an ad at the top of the hour. So I'm going to do that right now. Top of the hour, every hour, 6-second ad break. Here it is. Oh, here, this is really good. This is the Rand Paul take. It's so fucking psychotic.
Republicans like to mock modern monetary theory. The idea that government
this is the best
print
one.
money with
I thank you for sending this to me, Chatter. I was gonna watch the fuck out of this. Hold on, I gotta get a new coffee too.
The government can spend whatever it wants without the need to tax. Modern monetary theory is basically the Dick Cheney deficits don't matter crowd, trussed up with a new fancy title. Most Republicans rightly lampoon this quackery. That is, when they're not practicing the quackery themselves. Today, many of these same Republicans will vote for a bill that makes modern monetary theory look like child's play in comparison. The monster spending bill presented today is not just a deficits don't matter disaster, it is everything Republicans say they don't believe in. This bill is free money for everyone. Proponents don't care if you're fully employed, or own your own house, or own your own business. Free money for everyone, they cry. And yet, if free money were the answer, if money really grew on trees, why not give more free money? Why not give it out all the time? Why stop at $600 a person? Why not $1,000? Why not $2,000? Maybe these new free money Republicans should join the Everybody Gets a Guaranteed Income caucus. Why not $20,000 a year for everybody? Why not $30,000? If we can print up money with impunity, why not do it? The Treasury can just keep printing the money. That is, until someone points out that the emperor has no clothes and that the dollar no longer has value. To so-called conservatives who are quick to identify the socialism of Democrats, if you vote for this spending monstrosity, you are no better. When you vote to pass out free money, you lose your soul and you abandon forever any semblance of moral or fiscal integrity. So the next time you see Republicans in high moral dudgeon, claiming and complaining about spending of Democrats and socialism, remind them if they supported this monstrous bill that really the difference between the parties is less Adam Smith versus Marx and more Marx versus Engels. How bad is our fiscal?
Okay. Here's how you shut Rand Paul the fuck up, dude. Anytime a libertarian tries to tell you, like, oh man, these deficits, dude, these deficits, they're crazy, remind them that Rand Paul voted for one of the largest deficit increasing tax cuts in American history. The only reason why this fucking spaghetti haired, brittle boned dipshit is talking about our deficits and talking about modern monetary theory. Like he's saying that the Republicans are fucking woke with how much money that they're giving to people. The only reason why he's fucking doing that is because poor people get money now. That's why. This motherfucker does not care when it comes to rich people not giving money to the government to reduce the deficit or paying for social safety nets and social programs. He will fucking beef up the deficit by the widest of margins. But when it comes to poor people getting a crumb, $600, dude. Like, how dare you? If you're making less than $75,000 a year and you get $600, first of all, that's a fuck you. Like, it's literally, like, if they gave you zero, at least you could be like, oh, I don't know what happened. But, like, they give you 600 and they say, like, you should like this. This is enough for you. It's literally for you to be like, know your fucking place. Okay? Know your place. I'm spitting on your face, but it's actually, and telling you it's raining. Rand Paul's actually right. You're just taking things out of context. Yeah, he's right.
Situation. Well, the federal government brought in $3.3 trillion last year and spent $6.6 trillion. The deficit last year, a record-busting $3.3 trillion.
Dog, you literally voted for it. Like, what are you saying, you fucking asshat? You literally fucking voted for it, dude. What is he saying? Like he is acting like this happened in a vacuum and he had no say on the matter. Bitch, you gladly voted for the fucking tax cuts. What's up?
$1 billion. If you're looking for more COVID bailout money, we don't have it.
Listen, libertarians behind closed doors call welfare riot tax. Okay? Like real rich people. They say welfare is a necessity because it's riot tax. Because you need to be so poor that it's hard for you to fight back, right? But not so fucking poor that you're starving and recognize that you're backed into a corner. Okay? So he knows the $600 is just is shut up money, you know? I'm going to pay you to shut the fuck up. Money.
The coffers are bare. We have no rainy day fund. We have no savings account. Congress has spent all the money long ago. The economic damage from this pandemic is.
No one's talking about inflation when it comes to quantitative easing. We're not talking about inflation when it comes to fucking printing, like trillions to stop the market from fucking crashing. Inflation only matters when it comes to giving the poor's money. And the real reason why it matters when you're giving the poor's money is because this is about enforcing, it is about making sure that someone's still cleaning the toilets. Okay? That's it. That's the real reason. That's precisely why so many fucking Ron Paul included, so many Republicans were like, you know what's the real stimulus? Getting back to work. Like, the reality is, we have all these theories about what will happen and inflation is going to happen and whatnot, as though there are no like fucking checks that we can enforce at the federal level to push back against that. But the real reason why they don't want to give you money is moral hazard, right? That's what they say. It's a moral hazard. Because if you recognize that, like, holy shit, the government could just like give me fucking money, why am I cleaning the toilets? Like, is the only way, and someone has to clean the toilets, and the only way that someone will clean the toilets or make the t-shirts or, deliver your Postmates, the only way that they're going to do that is if they are fearful that they'll die if they don't. Okay? That's at the heart of this matter. That's the reason why so many people are like unironically frustrated with giving poor people more money. The only reason why you can get poor people to work in the conditions that they work in the jobs that they work in, is by making sure that they recognize that they'll die if they don't. That's just the reality.
Is not the reason for this runaway spending. This spending's been going on for decades. Every year, even before we...
Who cleans the toilets in a socialist society? I mean, who cleans your toilets? You do, bitch. You clean your own toilets, right? Why do you clean your own toilets in your own house? You clean the toilet. Someone cleans the toilets in your house, in your family, right? Why? You know why? Because you recognize that you own a part of that. This is your living space. This notion that, people would literally do it willingly if they had more ownership. If they had more ownership over their work. You're not going to want to fucking clean the toilets when you're working for someone else and you know for a fact that, like, no matter what you do, you have no say over it. And your boss can fire you on a whim, and that you have no real interest in like growing the business beyond like maybe looking better to your manager so you can maybe eke out a better living next year when you are renegotiating your contract. You can say bad take all you fucking want, bitch. I've worked at a company, okay? I've worked for someone else, and I've worked for myself. And let me tell you, there is no fucking boss that could ever get me to work 13 fucking hours a day nonstop. Do you know why I stream for 13 hours a day? Because I love what I do. Because I lack alienation from my work. I don't own all the means of production, but I own most of it. I suffer way less alienation from my labor than you do. That's part of the reason why I work the hours that I work. Comparing playing games to cleaning up public toilets, I clean my fucking toilet. So what are you talking about? Streaming isn't physical labor. Oh, God. Oh, the literalists, dude. Yeah, I know. Exactly. You're right. Every single fucking person in a workplace is literally doing hard labor. You dumb fuck. You get to create the entire product and do a non-repetitive job. Some people don't understand alienation. There's a difference between your toilet and a public one. Brother man, if you recognize that this is your company. Like, listen, smaller companies, oftentimes, if they don't have enough money to, like, hire sanitation staff or something, will figure out a way to deal with the issue together. Okay? And the reason why, they work in like a familial way, like as though a family would. There's a better way to increase fulfillment in your labor. If you have autonomy, if you have control over your job, and if you truly believe that, like, the business is not going to work without sanitation, it's not. When you recognize that and pay appropriately for it, regardless of like how replaceable that labor is, that's when you arrive at that is when you arrive at a situation in which people will do jobs that they don't consider to be as fulfilling or as emotionally or mentally stimulating as other jobs. Someone who worked for a small business, cleaning was a responsibility since they couldn't afford a cleaning service, but also paid a livable wage. In Japan, the schools don't have janitors and students do all the cleaning. Yeah, I've heard of this before. Shut up. I didn't permanently ban them. I banned them for 2 weeks because they wouldn't stop adding me and asking me to stop cursing over and over again. See you next year. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say sayonara. See you next year, baby. Here in New York City, sanitation workers for the city are paid handsomely with great benefits and surprise the job gets filled immediately. Yeah, there's a reason for why they get decent benefits and decent wages, brother. Some of you may not be old enough to know why. Is when they fucking did work stoppages, the entire city smelled like shit more than they usually do. That's what happens when you can exercise your collective bargaining powers. Okay?
Get to all the extra COVID-free money, we've been spending $1 trillion we don't have. Today's money is gone. So Congress is spending tomorrow's money. The spending chart is a red line of red ink that goes on forever. When we talk about spending tomorrow's money, it's not just the money that we need next month, it's the money we might need in a decade. It's the money we will need in 1, 2, 3 generations from now. For national defense, for infrastructure. This is the money that your children and your grandchildren will pay back with interest. The deficit doubling and tripling. Under George Bush, it went from $5 trillion to $10 trillion. Under President Obama, it went from 10 to 20 trillion. We're now at 27 trillion, but we're adding it at $1 trillion a year before we get to this COVID budget-busting bailout. Every tax-paying American already owes over $136,000. And they're staring at projections into the future that show no end. We are $27 trillion in debt today. How do we expect a child to have the economic opportunity when this crushing debt is their inheritance from God?
What destroys economic opportunity? I wonder. Is it the wages remaining stagnant for the past fucking 40, 50 years, or is it the inflation? I don't know. Cost of living is very, very, very high for really important areas. Like, a necessity for upward social mobility is education. Prices of college is fucking skyrocketed. A necessity for survival is shelter. The housing market is constantly fucking broken. You have inelastic demand for healthcare. You die without it. You need it. Price of medicine in America is 10x. Price of pharmaceuticals and healthcare is like 10x in comparison to comparable nations. Those are the areas that we could absolutely fix with regulation. But Rand Paul is, of course, a libertarian, so he doesn't want that. Just get insurance? Brother, I pay $666 a month for just insurance.
Congress. The numbers are mind-boggling. It's hard to conceive of what $1 billion is, much less $1 trillion. How big is $1 billion? Well, 1 billion seconds ago was 1988, and Reagan was president. 1 billion minutes ago, Jesus walked the shore of the Sea of Galilee.
By the way, like, who fucked over the deficits in comparison to like previous administrations? Like, I don't think he can't be like a fucking fan of Ronald Reagan either, right? I mean, because the other side of this argument always relies on taxation, and these guys are like anti-tax. Okay, well then anyone who cuts taxes are fucking destroying the deficit. Like, these guys are like things that you literally are voting on and are excited for and advocate for are straight the fuck up destroying the deficit. So what is this argument?
1 billion hours ago, man still lived in caves. But $1 billion ago was just 80 minutes ago. $1 billion ago, at the rate Congress spends money, was just 80 minutes ago. All of this should be setting off alarm bells. But the only alarm bells in Congress are sounding the alarm for more spending and more debt. No cuts, no offsets, no pay for.
Dude, partially the reason why people don't advocate for cuts is because it's harmful politically, and only Democrats are stupid enough to ever fucking run with that. Okay? Like, you gotta be a real fucking idiot to be like, oh, we need austerity. You gotta be the biggest idiot to advocate for austerity at a time when there is a pandemic. Like, but Rand Paul is that kind of idiot. So it's not surprising that he's saying these things.
No prioritization, just print up more money and give it out to everybody because it's free money, come and get yours. Well, the getting's good, but it leads to a mountain of debt. Spend all this money and leave the future to figure itself out. John Maynard Keynes was once asked, what about the long run? He said, in the short run, you can make a stimulus, you can print money, and you can give it to everybody. And Maynard Keynes, his response was, in the long run, we'll all be dead. No concern for the future.
Yeah. When I think about people who have concerns for the future, I think about the guy whose worldview is perhaps most responsible for the death and destruction that American workers face. Like, I think about libertarians when I think about those who care about our future. Come the fuck on, brother.
Only for the immediate. Our budget deficit for 2020 was $3.3 trillion, but this new spending package will also give us another $2 trillion in the next fiscal year. By refusing to acknowledge the debt crisis, we are only hastening the day of economic reckoning. Total debt was 55% of GDP just 20 years ago. Today, it's 128% of GDP. So our total debt is more than our GDP, 128% of our GDP. The World Bank estimates there's a tipping point of debt to GDP at about 77%.
You don't care about our future? No, he doesn't care about our future. It's dumb as fuck. Libertarians don't care about the fucking future. When they talk about debt, they're ridiculous. Like, if you truly cared about debt, then you wouldn't advocate for tax cuts. If you truly cared about debt, you would not advocate for tax cuts. If you truly cared about the future, you would not advocate for austerity, especially at a time when there's an economic crisis that's looming over us as a consequence of a fucking pandemic. It's their lack of care about the future that literally leads us down this nefarious ideology that destroys America, or at least the American working class and their conditions.
Every percentage point costs another tenth or so of economic growth. So every year.
Why do you have a sub goal during a pandemic? Because I love capitalism and I love making money, or maybe because if I closed off my sub goal, then people would say I'm hiding my income. It's not like I'm like, hey, you guys got to get me to 750. I don't do that. I'm not saying like you got to get me to 4,750, 40,750. It's not a goal. It's just the only way to show it. Is the way to show the number. Notice how my heart rate went down when you made that stupid argument? It didn't work. Or you could just not mention it, ... Do I mention it? Thank you, Edgar, for the 5 tier 1 gift subs. I've never heard you mention the sub count out of context or in a weird way. No. Sub count is not sub goal. There's I can't show it other way. Like on Streamlabs, there's no other way to show it. You are the one who mentioned it. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, it's top of the hour every hour, which means that there is a 60-second ad break. If you no longer want to see the ads, you can subscribe. Or you can just watch the 60-second ad at the top of the hour, or use a ad block. Even though most of the ad blocks now will stop you from seeing the stream or whatever the fuck Twitch is doing lately. I don't know what they're doing. Here's the ad. That sub goal in a pandemic shit is a Jimmy Dore talking point. He blasted Jank for fundraising, so I imagine his idiot supporters are gonna bring it here too. Ugh. People always bashing you while Kyle, Pepe Levy, and many more also make big cash with their content. Like, there are some benefits you get as a subscriber. There are some benefits you get as a subscriber. You can send me a link in the chat. Doesn't mean I'm going to click on it. You don't watch ads. You get to use the emotes. But most of the benefits that you would get as a subscriber, you can get as a free viewer. There are plenty of people who watch me for free. Hold on. Someone knocked at the door. They watch me for free. They can talk to me, and I will read their fucking chat. Like, I will read the chat diligently. Does not matter if you're a subscriber or not. I don't care. Like, you don't have to subscribe. You subscribe only if you want to. As a matter of fact, I don't call out the subscriptions. Everyone in here knows that I do not call out the subscriptions. I'm eternally grateful for those who do subscribe. But I'm not going to be the guy who calls out your subscription, so much so that there's a meme about it in my community about how it's a dono wall. Whenever people do subscribe, I never read out their subscription. Hold on. I think it was just delivery. Thank you, Strike a Dragon, for the 100 gift subs. Holy shit. Dude, my mom is not here and she's like sending the weirdest fucking shit. My mom is not here and she's sending the weirdest fucking shit right now. I don't know why. Like, I got a fucking package. I got a package with like, no one's at the door, but I got a fucking package with like, with just like random cups and shit, like glasses and cups and plates. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. Hey man, oh man, dodged again. Hey man, so do subscribers not get the OnlyFans? Hey man, do subscribers not get the OnlyFans? The OnlyFans that you get is a video of me fucking your mom, okay? That's the OnlyFans that you get. Like, why is this such a fucking, like, why is this a talking point that is seen as like a pejorative or a bad thing? Like, it's so weird when people just like weaponize OnlyFans. It was a joke. It's a fucking shitty one, dude. It's a really shitty one, okay? You forgot to mention that subs can watch your second channel on Twitch. I really enjoyed the Pawn Stars eps yesterday. No, I don't have a second channel on Twitch. What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway. Man, it is impossible to know what is bait and what is actual taste in this chat. I know. I pay good money to send you links. Thank you, Austin Ox. Another benefit of being a subscriber is that if you are a subscriber for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and you're constantly in the community and I recognize your name and I recognize the art that you do, then I know more about you. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, like, subscribers don't get ban protection, as many subscribers will tell you. Elden Ring update? What the fuck? Anyway. My mom thought you had an actual breathing issue when you wore that mask. You're tricking the boomers? Good. Miko put you on in her stream? Wait, what is this? I can see Code Miko's technician already got 360 scan. That's not me. Do the band subs stay? Do the band subs stay banned? No. Like, anyway. Yeah, I saw this take earlier. It's so stupid. Fellas, is it sexist to say someone is rich? Nancy Pelosi, who described $600 as a significant stimulus for working families, has a net worth of more than $100 million. David Little says, "Psst, your misogyny is showing." It's like, who believes this, brother? Like, you gotta put an effort to believe in something so fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like, who fucking operates this way, man? Like, you gotta be operating on a totally different planet to be like, wow, that's really sexist, sweaty. And then the counter always is, you never talk about men's salaries. Like, bitch, what do you mean? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we fucking do. So dumb. Such a dumb counter. It's like, huh, you're sexist for pointing out how rich Nancy Pelosi is. You understand that your words can cause harm? You've lied 2 consecutive days about gaming. Playing 5 minutes of 15 FPS COD does not count as game as on early gaming today. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's joking. No, these motherfuckers don't joke, man. I mean, he does look like the classic liberal male feminist dude. Maybe he's not. Maybe he is being sarcastic. Lower your sodium intake and don't forget your chest stretches and change your chair to the one that doesn't push your shoulder blades forward. That's actually a good take. That's literally a good ass fucking take, but everything makes me Oh, damn, he blocked her too. Blocking a woman? Psst, your misogyny is showing, David Little. David Lytle. Damn, that's fucked. That's hella fucked. That's real misogynistic, dude. Did you fix your issue with COD yesterday? I think so.